Welcome to Roundabout Cast 43. I think that's right.
Hi.
Uh,
Hello.
I'm joined here by Joe and Tyler, respectively. No Bradley this week, but he'll be back in the future.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, what have y'all been up to these days?
Wait. We didn't do introductions.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
I'm
mean, you
Joe.
introduced us.
Who am I talking
Yeah.
about?
Uh, I'm Joe. I'm in mourning. I'm so sad.
I'm Tyler. I'm wearing a bucket hat. We're bringing him back.
What? Hold on. No, you're not. Liar.
No, see, it's on me now.
Don't believe his lies.
It fell off.
Okay, cool. Joe, what have you been up to?
Um. Well, I have to.
Hold on. Today we're
Yeah.
gonna talk about, aside from our free talk, we're gonna talk about a video game called Parkitect, which has blown up with you guys recently. I've
Yeah.
watched a bunch of Netflix shows recently that I want to do a roundup on, and then we can do Ghost of Tsushima talk because I have played like 20
Yeah.
hours of that thing. So even though Joe's ahead of me, that's
I
a
played
long
it as
game.
well. I think. Yeah. I think it's worth talking about. We'll revisit it probably, maybe. Uh, but yeah.
Joe,
In Joe's world.
yeah, what's going on?
Well, the ninth edition of Warhammer 40,000 came out last week, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I don't know. Played 2 games so far with it. Really enjoying it. I really like the system they came up with. They have finally moved away from killing things and more towards like being tactical in your placement of your troops, which I really like. Uh, Other than that, I picked up Chainsaw Man and read the entire thing in one day. So now
Wow.
I'm caught up to
Okay.
that. Yeah.
I should catch up, and then we should do a Chainsaw Man talk.
That is a very that manga is like it straddles a line very well of being something special, but also being way too junior high edgy teen spirit kind of deal. But it doesn't. I don't know. There's something really unique about this
I
manga.
don't know. I feel like there's something honest and refreshing about how brutal it
Yeah,
is.
that's the other thing. Yeah, I agree.
I think it goes beyond edgy and just becomes something weird and brutal. Tyler, what have you been up to?
Other than Parkitect, I have like too many games that are coming out like this week and like past week. Risk of Rain 2 1.0 just came out today. Like this afternoon got launched, so it's like a finally out and out of early access. Like early access, I've put over 100 hours into this game. Really great roguelike, very fun party game to play with your friends. Extremely addicting game.
I think great co-op game. I wouldn't call it a party game. A party game, it means I feel to me you're drinking and you're trying to get swishing, have some good laughs with
Like
your friends.
Fall Guys.
Spelunk is a party game.
Oh,
Yeah, Fall Guys.
see, like, is Fall Guys a party game?
Hell
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Well,
yeah.
It's a online party game. I don't think you could do.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you can do it local. I don't know.
I don't think you can, but I would say it's a party game.
So yeah, co-op, Risk of Rain 2, Parkitect. Let's see. There's like Final Fantasy 14 got updated this week, and I want to check that out.
Same.
I
don't know.
And
when,
then,
though.
yeah, I don't know when. And then Seven Deadly Sins, season 4, or season 3 or 4, whatever you want to call it. Netflix called. wow, things are moving so fast, I can't keep up. And it's like, yeah, like 5 or 6 plot points happen in this one.
Funny
episode.
you should mention. Yeah. Cool.
So I'm excited about that. I finished. I don't know if I've talked about it at all. I finished watching Baki.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if I ever talked about that.
You talked about it to us for sure. I don't think you ever talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. The sub and dub is both on Netflix now of the Great Raitai tournament. We see some resurgence of some characters from the first part of the first season, and this next arc kind of like come back for a little bit, and it's a pretty good lead up. The absurdness and ridiculousness is very well appreciated in this as compared to like Seven Deadly Sins. It's really cool. Really dumb fights happen in it. They beat poison with poison. It's a good time.
Cool. As for me, what have I been up to? I played a lot of Monster Hunter last 2 weeks. That was good.
Yeah.
Got my
I jumped in every once in a while.
got my sessions for the event, which is good. I've been slacking on doing those events when they come around. Been playing a lot of Ghost of Tsushima. We're going to talk about that later. I rewatched Aquaman recently. That's a great movie. Underrated. Don't sleep on Aquaman.
A special Willer edition of Aquaman.
It was great, all right? And Aquaman is the anime movie of the century. And then there was something else. Played some Fall Guys. We're not going to talk about it here, but I'm done with that game. I've played it for about an hour, and then something terrible happened, and I don't know if I can ever go back. And then I've been rewatching Attack on Titan. I just finished season 1.
Hey,
oh my god!
I feel a hole in your heart.
That show is so good. That show is amazing. Season 1 still has the issue of like sometimes it's just needlessly grim and edgy, but like when you look back on it and you see all these plot threads and you know where they're going, and you're like, oh my god, they're setting this up from here. Like, oh, look at all these hints. It's so good. Can't wait for season 2 where shit actually pops off.
Willer's been like Snapchatting me like epic moments throughout like season 1. He's like geeking out every morning.
Oh,
it's
you
been
know
great.
I'm gonna Snapchat you the "we're doing this here, we're doing this now" moment, because that moment's godlike.
That is a great moment in that show. And that series.
Speaking of anime, I think I geek about it every week. Sword Art Online's back.
Yeah.
Still back. I think I talked about the bad tentacle hentai episode, which is like, really bad. And I think this is like their final season they're doing, because these past 2 or 3 episodes, they're just throwing every character from the entire show into it.
Neat.
Hold on.
It'd be good if that thing
No.
ended.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, sorry.
You know what? I'm saying that, but it doesn't affect me, and it makes Tyler happy. So just keep making them.
No, kill it.
Kill it with fire.
Let it die peacefully, you know?
Yeah, all good things must die. All right, Joe
Yes.
and Tyler, I guess. Why don't y'all gush about Parkitect for a little bit?
Boy, I was up till like 3 a.m. watching a live stream of it. I cannot stop thinking about Parkitect. Do you like Roller Coaster Tycoon 1? Do you like Roller Coaster Tycoon 2?
Do you like jazz?
Do you hate Roller Coaster Tycoon 3? Then Parkitect is the game for
Is
you.
that a common stance to have?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 is not good. Well,
Oh.
it's not as good. It just got overly complicated. Parkitect brings it back into the fold. It adds a lot of stuff to it, but doesn't like. I don't know. Parkitect is a great breath of fresh air. It's a great management game. I've bought this game many years ago. I just never kind of booted up and played it, and then Tyler started playing it. I was like, yeah, I'll play it with you, and so we'll play together online.
I've been waiting to just like. I have a really like. I'm really iffy about dropping money on games for some reason. Don't know why. But the other day I was. Yeah, I've been waiting to get this game for like 2 years, and so I just like did it. I've been in love. It's so like if you like the first 2 Roller Coaster Tycoon games, they're roller coaster. If you never heard of Roller Coaster Tycoon, um, then they are theme park management games where you get to build rides, customize your park, build roller coasters, anything you want. Um, and what happened with the first two games is they were laid out on a grid, so everything was kind of like square
Mm-hmm.
and like had this really simple art style, and you could really make things uniform, and it just had this aesthetic to it that made the game very charming.
It also was like really compact and organized because everything was based on those like squares, so you could fit things together like a puzzle almost.
Yeah. And so like Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 came out and Planet Coaster have come out in that time. I think Hasbro's tried to revive the franchise like in a mobile version, and then like some other four, and like they weren't any good and everybody hated them.
Mm-hmm.
And Planet Coaster has been like the biggest like success in theme park management, but they give leeway for the creator to be
side. Yeah.
Yeah, they give like for the more creative side, like everything's unlocked, like make the wildest roller coaster of your dreams and everything. And it's like that's really cool for people who want to do that. I would still recommend that game for people who want to play that.
Oh, I agree. I have both.
Yeah.
Planet Coaster is definitely much more like a 3D modeling system that's close, like where it's just like, oh, I'm gonna make Disney World in this video game. It's like great, you can totally do it. It's got really cool stuff. It's all about the minutia of developing a like cool looking theme park. Meanwhile, Park Attack is how to make a functional scenario driven theme park, I would say.
But they still make you actually decorate your park and make it look nice, and that's not something that is like, oh, I can make my park look aesthetically nice like if I want to. It's something that's ingrained into the mechanics of the game. Like more people will visit your park if it looks nicer, people will stay longer if it looks nicer, people will spend more money if it looks nicer, and your rides are actually improved if you decorate them with scenery as well.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of this game, but I did see Tyler decorating his park with lights or flags or something. It was nice.
Yeah. The building is really simple in this game, and I think that's what I like the scenery part of it. I like it better than Planet Coaster just because it's like dumbed down, and there's a fine line between management and decorating as well. Like I get more management than decorating, but they still have paid a lot of attention to decorating.
I feel like with the Park Attack, they came in with the idea of like, we want it to be a management game, but we don't want you to like just drop off the scenery aspect of the game. So for example, one of the big mechanics of the game that I really, really like is that you will take negative hits if your guests can see your workers doing behind the scenes stuff. So if they see them moving boxes to like a food stand, or they see them in the break room, or if they see them take trash out to the front of the amusement park, they don't like seeing that. So you have to like make backlot areas where your crew can like walk around behind it and like get to different locations and like fill up the different stores. So you have to like incorporate that into your building design, and which you can, if you're really clever, you can make your like backlot area as part of your decorating. So that way you kill two birds with one stone.
Or you can be like me and just shovel like the backlot stuff underground and make them crawl through the tunnels like rats.
Yeah.
I hope those are nice tunnels you're making them go through.
No, they're not at all. Like everything is underground. Like the break room's underground. Like the depot's underground where they get their deliveries. And like all employees need access to a break room. But like there are haulers, like people who basically just go and pick up deliveries, and you can basically like isolate them off in like to their own little world. And they just become like these little hauling goblins, like they're like couriers.
Tyler, I'm gonna cancel Tyler Land with this information.
It's really cool too. So like it has the campaign mode, which is like the main thing that like you unlock different parks with, and like different parks have different environments, and people will have different needs based off of the park. So like if you're in a desert park, they'll like more water rides, and they'll be thirstier more often. So you need to create more things like catered towards those needs. If you're in a cold park, like the one Joe is currently on, you got to make like hot drinks and make sure like the rides are covered up so people will like want to ride them and stay there.
Yeah. It's
Um,
they do a real good job of making those scenarios like have good enough variety. It's kind of funny because when you look at just like the breakdown of the scenario, you're like, oh, this is the same like goals and everything as the last one. But then like you'll actually read about the park and you're just like, oh, this is on an island that's like in a wet, cold environment, meaning I need to pick rides that will do well in the rain, that I can make like enclosures around, and this is also like a really long skinny island, so I need to be able to like put checkpoints and pasting locations for my guests as they go through the park because it's much longer to walk through. Yeah.
This seems Joe as hell. Whenever he gets talking like that, you just know.
A really cool thing is, let's talk about the difficulty scaling. This game has some great difficulty scaling for not ever discussing difficulty or appearing to have any difficulty in it at all.
Yeah.
So what this game does that the old games don't do, or like Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 and 2, is you could not build while the game was paused. This game lets you build while it's paused, and you can basically build the entire park. Like, how the campaigns work is you go in and you're given a scenario, like, prompt, and it's like, have 200 guests in your park. And then you have, like, an optional one that's like, have a profit of $500 per month and, like, a happiness rating of 70%. And then another option will be like, complete all these by the end of year 2. And you get more, like, for each objective you complete, you get a little coin. All right. And if you do all of them, which is like within the time limit that it gives you in the optional, it'll give you an additional coin. And these additional coins unlock hidden like campaigns or parks. And the really cool thing is like I said, the optional thing gives you like a time limit. So you can pause the game if you're a more casual person. You want to take your time decorating your park, making it look nice, making sure like all of your employee stuff is hidden. You can pause it, place everything down, and then just like let the game play out and manage it from there. You can even fast forward it 3 times if you don't like that park and you just want to kind of like move on to the next one. Or you can do like the RTS game where you're just like dropped in, you read the prompt, and you're like going. You're like trying to move around as fast as you can, create the paths, make the scenery and everything.
That's not me. I'm the pause boy.
I feel like creating in the pause time kills it because I don't know.
No.
You get to establish your own difficulty in the way that you want to play.
I guess, yeah.
And, there's another management game I play called it's the Jurassic World like game, and that game has 0 like time things into it. Is the most frustrating shit in the world because it's also like there comes a point where you're like, all right, I spent all my money. I literally just need the park to operate now so I can get my money back. And if you don't have that fast forward button, you're just like
sitting there doing nothing.
What's the difference between 0 time or doing it in pause time? Would you prefer 0 time?
Like 0 fast forwarding?
Oh, I might have misunderstood what Joe was saying then.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that there's no control of the time, so I can't fast forward or pause. So it's just like I build everything, I have to wait for everything to like operate. Well, in this game, I hit 3 times speed. I could see like how like over like a month in the course of like 30 seconds, like, oh, here's how we did this month. That's another thing about this game. This game has stats for fucking days, and it's great.
Oh my god, you have to actually like look at your money and income that you're getting and like expenses, because I never did that in Roller Coaster Tycoon. I was just like, park entry fee $30, this theme ride like $5, and then never touch the shop stuff. You touch the price for everything in this game.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel tedious either, because you'll kind of like you'll come to a point, it's like, all right, I need to make more money. And it does a really good job of breaking down every component of your park. Like you'll have like a section that's like rides. You have another section that's shops, and you have another one that's like operations. So like you could be like, all right, we're spending a lot of money on maintenance, but nothing is broken down. What can we like cut back on maintenance wise to like lower our ride maintenance costs? And you can look at that and you can start cutting like, oh, the carousel never breaks down because it's a carousel. We'll reduce that down to like 50-25% budget. Don't have to worry about it. Which sounds terrible.
It's a merry-go-round, you know?
Yeah.
You guys are gonna
And you can
kill
also even, like,
children.
yeah. You can also adjust like the prices of the shops, like Tyler said, but you can also adjust like how much stock you're getting in of a certain item. Like for example, if you're playing a game that like has raining weather but doesn't rain all the time, you can lower the amount of umbrellas that you're shipping in, so you're not just buying umbrellas by the shit ton every month.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Another thing is like I had like a customized shop and it was selling like salt chips and like pop drinks, but then I had like a soda shop that was nearby that like sold like more expensive full size sodas, and I found out that I was like, oh my god, the vending machine shop is actually taking away business from the large soda shop.
Oh
So I had to
no.
like change what I was providing to that customized shop and like change out the orders that I was getting to it.
That
and
seems
then
like a
and another
fun decision to make and come to.
Yeah, it also like they also have a bunch of lenses, so you can see like how all your park guests are feeling. So like I brought in a lens that like, all right, show me everyone that's thirsty, and I realized that people were thirstier in one corner of the park than the other corner, and I realized because there's just not any drink stands nearby, so I had to like make a whole nother section that just had the drink stands, and like it fucking shot through the roof in the amount of money I was making, and everyone was happier. And you can see like the path that people are taking, so you know like where they're going and like what their pattern is, so you know like what the place like. It's great. The game does a really good job of showing you a lot of information you need to know about your park.
Let's talk about the bad. And I do have a big complaint with this game that if you want to build rides and that's the thing you enjoy the most,
Yeah.
Planet Coaster has this game beat by miles. This game is more on the management and decorating side. It has good roller coaster and ride building tools. They're very forgiving with the amount of G-forces you have at certain parts of the roller coaster, rides that can go above and below ground, but they have limited customization options compared to Planet Coaster. And even limited options compared to Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 as well. Like, I found out I couldn't do a reverse incline launch on a steel roller coaster, and I was kind of like one of the classic roller coasters was like the boomerang style roller coaster. And you can't do a reverse incline launch. So that's like, I don't know, it just feels like very limited in that sense. And even though it's not, like, you can still do so many roller coaster types, but it's like still like you can't do a boomerang. Like the boomerang's the boomerang, you know? Some rides aren't as strong as they used to be in terms of excitement or bringing guests in, like the shuttle loop or Grease Lightning or whatever you know
I
it
feel
as.
like also like there's a lot of rides that get stuck at that medium like intensity for like I just it's very hard because you get a lot of times when you're playing these parks. So when you do each park, it gives you a set of rides that you start off with, and you can research more rides. The rides you research are randomly, I don't know random, but they have their own set like linear progression. So you don't have a lot of control of like what you can unlock. It's kind of like, oh, you get this, and then you get this, and you kind of have to work with you're given, which is good and bad. But like it sucks when you're like, I have no high intensity rides, and that's what people want in this park.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
The developers put a lot of time into like pre-built rides though that look amazing. Like whoever did the decoration on their pre-built rides is like a god in terms of like scene, like art assets and like scene decorating. Like I hope they're a scene artist. Like they are just a godsend. They look great. They teach me how to decorate better whenever I place them in my environment. And basically you can create entire parks around like one pre-built ride that they give you.
Or like staff building, because like there's that Arabian Oasis location that has a staff building, and I basically just like eyedroppered everything off of that and copied it essentially on all my other stuff. What's good though is that it is connected to the Steam Workshop, so you can download custom content and put it into your
game has great mods, great community. A lot of people who put in cool stuff.
Tyler had to upload his save to the Steam Workshop because it wouldn't transfer, and they downloaded it. It's like, all right, that worked.
I went out of town for the weekend and my Steam Sync wasn't working, so I just uploaded my park to the workshop, downloaded it on my other computer. I was like, all right, that took like I was looking at all these ways to fix my Steam Sync like files, and it seemed like it would take 30 minutes to an hour. Some involved like re-downloading Steam. and I was just like, what if I just uploaded it? Yep, works. You can share your parks with your friends. You can even create custom scenario parks for your friends, which once I get to end game, it's gonna be really fun sharing some scenarios with Joe and watch him struggle to beat it.
You get $1, make $1 billion by the end of the month.
They did have so Willer, I had this one park last campaign I did. You have to have a monthly profit of like $1,500 per month, which like Joe and I are just now learning how to make more than like $500 per month.
Yeah.
And so like this park was ridiculous, and I got really lucky. Don't know what exactly I did.
Also, that map's not like easy because it was an archipelago map, so it was a bunch of islands. So you were limited on your space.
Yeah, it was really small. And once you get $1,500 profit per month, you have to hold that for 3 months, and your profits vary each month. So like before I got there, I was like at 1,400, then 1,200, then 1,300, and finally I hit that threshold. And so I had it for 2 months. I'm in the 3rd month, and it starts raining for like 2.5 weeks. And like my main 2 rides I'm bringing in most of my profits from are roller coasters, and you can cover the roller coasters, like, and you can make them indoors, and people will ride them nonstop if you want to go to that level of details. But I'm like on this island. It's part of my aesthetic that they're all outdoors, and it just starts raining. And it's like I have a week left, and my profits for that month are only $850. And like after that happened, I raised the prices of both my rides by $1. Both of them just brought in like another $1,200, and I beat the park with like 25 seconds left to go. It was ridiculous.
Sounds cool.
Fun game. Park
Good game.
Yeah, it's $30 on Steam during Steam during Steam game sales. It goes down to 25.
Yeah. If you are someone that really wants ride customization or like park theming customization, I highly recommend Planet Coaster as an alternative. Planet Coaster has management systems, but it's much more built around just like I want to make my own custom theme park, and I have the artistic ability to do so. And it gives you everything you need to do for that. It even has a mode that's sort of like, fuck it, have everything, and it just gives you everything, and you go crazy.
If you want to manage theme parks with your friends, and you don't feel like playing or buying a game, try Open RCT 2. It's a mod for Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, runs in 4K, and is multiplayer, and you can build parks with your friends.
Hot damn. All right. Y'all want to take a break, or y'all want to just roll into the next one?
What's the next thing?
Next thing is not ghosts.
Got the spooky ghosts.
Willer Netflix catch-up hour.
Oh shit!
I watched a bunch of Netflix shows recently. I'm gonna talk about 3 of them.
Okay.
Show number 1, The Ozark.
Are we recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
We said we'd roll into
Okay.
it.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. I don't make mistakes anymore. Fingers crossed. Ozark is like Breaking Bad light, Diet Breaking Bad. It's the story of Jason Bateman as a human being. No, Jason Bateman plays the main character, Marty, who is a money launderer for the Mexican cartel. And very early on to the series, like maybe episode 2 or 3, the mom and the children all know about it, so that's like its defining difference from Breaking Bad. The problem with Ozark sometimes, and I think season 3 still holds true to this, even though it might be the best season. Maybe 2 might have been a little better, but the problem that the show has is that it often goes for like shock over substance. Yeah, it'll just throw in plot threads and scenes to just be like edgy and like, whoa, you didn't see that coming, did you? And like, here's an example, right? Season 3 has a plot line where they need to buy a casino, like a opponent casino. They have their own casino, but they need to buy this one to kind of cement their hold on the casino game over there. I don't know. They're money laundering. They're trying to get all these businesses. The cartel's on their ass. So the owner of the casino is like this wimpy man who's going, like, the casino isn't doing well, but he doesn't want to sell. and partly because his wife is like, do not sell to this woman and this guy, like they're not to be trusted. We can make this work. So the way that they God damn it. The way that they resolve this plot thread is um, Wendy, who is Marty's wife, and she just has the most punchable face sometimes. She's like what people think Skylar actually was in Breaking Bad. She's a good character, but she is awful and always pisses everyone off, and she's the one that gets the family in most trouble. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Wendy talks to the husband. She's like, "Don't you want to grow some balls and like show some initiative? Aren't you tired of the way she's talking to you?" So, the husband and the wife are walking by this creek, and the wife is berating him. So he like smacks her, and she passes out, and then rolls down a hill in the most comically stupid way you've ever seen. I gotta show you this clip. And then smashes her head on a rock. And that's it. They never address this again. They're like, well, we bought the casino guys. It's like, wait, what? The husband kills off the wife in this totally out of character moment, and you never touch on this again, and now you have the casino, and that's how you're gonna solve this plot thread.
Wait, the wife, does she come back to life or is she dead?
No, she just fucking died that scene. We literally never talk about her, or maybe even see the husband again. And that's Ozark, but it's still pretty good. It's got good
Is
characters.
that ongoing?
Yes, the next season is the last season, and I think that's a good place to end it. I think the season ended off in a very cool spot. They killed off a good antagonist, but they kind of do that every season. Like, they had a really good antagonist in season 1 who just gets shotgunned in season 2 because he called someone a hillbilly. Like, they killed off the main antagonist just like that, and it's like, I don't know if that was a good idea. And then,
Sounds like Legend of Korra.
I wouldn't know. But then there's also stuff like, so they need to get these two characters together in this season. So we're going to have one of them, like, overhear that the other got arrested, and then they're going to use their connections to get him out for no reason. These characters have never interacted. There's no reason why this character should care about the other one. But we're going to do this so that they can start this relationship this season. And it's really weird, and it came out of nowhere. And the point is that then, like, the Jesse Pinkman of the show, who's called Ruth, is going to turn on the Bird family at the end of the season and go join the other family. And there's just no through line, and I don't know, it pisses me off sometimes. But it's got great acting. It's got some very tense moments. It's a decent show. Show number 2 is The Boys. So The Boys.
This is Amazon.
Amazon Prime's hot show about a world of superheroes where the superheroes are more like Twitter celebrities. They're like more like influencers. Now they are superheroes, but they're branded in an influencery way. And it's like, what if superheroes were capitalism? And that's The Boys. And
Imagine if Jake Paul had laser vision and super strength.
oh, Jesus. That is so good, actually. Dutiful listeners of the podcast might remember me talking about The Boy in the past. And my verdict was, I got 3 episodes in. Episode 4 starts with a scene where it's like delving into like my least favorite character's backstory. And I came to realize I don't like any of the characters. I don't like the tone of the show. I'm going to drop it. And then several months passed, and I started watching a bunch of videos on The Boys for no reason. Just to see what dumb shit happens in the comics. Guys, it's so fucking dumb. The comics are like some of the edgiest, dumbest shit I've ever seen. That's a good example. Like, I don't know, man. There's baby eating and period blood and superheroes flying through superheroes and fucking
anything that involves specifically female blood for anything is kind of bad, in my opinion. Like,
I don't like animal blood personally.
Well, you eat animal blood, unfortunately.
No, but animal
Your
cruelty,
hamburgers.
I can't deal with animal cruelty.
So, anyways, I'm like, this is the dumbest shit ever. And that actually helped me get back into the show because it's like, I heard the show is different. It's actually trying to do something because The Boys, like, has a good setup where these so in the show they're non-powered, but in the comic books they have powers from pretty early on. But these guys are trying to keep the superheroes in check and try to come down with the whole conspiracy of superheroes that is present in that world. Um, and like
Are these other superheroes trying to keep him in check?
No, they're
They're
not
just normal people.
These are the boys in the show. They're just normal people, led by an absolute sociopath called Billy Butcher, who is the Punisher, I guess, of this world because he's so fucking edgy in the comic books and he looks just like Frank Castle. But anyways, so I was like, okay, if the show is not, I'm interested to see how the show is. And you know what? This is a tale of giving things second chances because I very much enjoy the show more after getting back into it. Um, it really doesn't have the same fully edgy tone. It'll have shock horror, like the speedster running through the main character's girlfriend within the first scene of the show, and then she just gets eviscerated.
That's the only clip I've seen.
And then it's got a girl like doing cunnilingus with a man, and she's riding him, but she has superpower, so she crushes his head. It's like, haha, the boy, superheroes, it's fun. But they're actually doing something. They make some really good changes. Apparently, the pace at which they're going through these plot points is much faster. For example, the main character is Huey. He's kind of like a doughy, like, I want to get revenge on the speedster for killing my girlfriend, but I don't want to be as evil as you want me to be to do it. And he goes to some dark places, but he's pulled back, and it's like, okay, good. Like, you didn't go, like, crazy with him. He doesn't in the comics either, but, like, the boys just seem like an unlikable group in the comics. Well, by the end, I like them, except for Billy Butcher, the main guy. But they do something interesting with this story where, okay, all right, trigger warnings for everything you could imagine. I'm going to talk about a plot thread in the boys' comic. There's a character called Homelander, who, by the way, Hypercarry. There has never been a stronger Hypercarry because even when I wasn't sure about the show, Homelander kept me going because he is such a good sociopathic Superman character. He's by far the highlight of the show. Fantastic character. Want to punch him in the face. Not going to do anything. He's just going to laser my ass. So Billy Butcher hates the superheroes because Homelander allegedly raped his wife, and then she bore his child, who clawed out of the wife because it's a superhuman fetus, and then Billy Butcher has to kill it with a lamplight. All right, that's the comic. In the show, and this is big spoilers, I don't know if you guys ever want to watch it, that I'll just say they take that story to a much more nuanced and interesting place that makes you really question what Billy Butcher even started this entire crusade for, and I really like that. They also expand on the characters of the Deep, who is the Aquaman of the world, and A-Train, who is the Flash, and Queen Maeve, who is the Wonder Woman. And the places they take their storylines, like, they're all terrible people, but you kind of feel for them in different ways. And then there's Starlight, who is the newest recruit, and she's like, she believes in being a hero, and she's like, oh, I've dreamed of being in the Seven, which is their Justice League, since I was young. And then she gets, like, raped on her first day there. So that's the boys. But, like, I'm like, okay, so the story is going to take her to places where she's, like, going to be just as bad as the other ones because she turns as bad. But no, she actually ends up being, like, a really good, hopeful spot. She has a relationship with the main character that they have to keep under wraps. That's actually really wholesome, and there's good chemistry in it. The show really came around, and I'm super excited because season 2 is coming out September 4th. And I'm into it now. Like, they took this story and they stripped down some of the fat, which is edginess and just shock horror, dumb bullshit. And they're actually trying to tell a real story that it feels better in the social media age than I think it does back when the comics came out, which was the 90s or so. Maybe
Would you say that knowing stories in the comics helped keep your interest once you went back to rewatch it?
I would say so. More like how they were going to subvert those very dumb stories. There are some interesting things. There's a twist with the character of Black Noir, who is the Batman of the universe. He does not talk. He just stands there. He's in fully black. You can't see his face. And he's just doing dumb, like, weird, goofy shit, like playing the piano. and Homelander's like, all of you guys are fucking up lately, except you, Black Noir. You're cool. And then he just looks around like, yeah, all right. And he's got some fun comedic beats, but there's a cool twist with him that I hope they keep. But they seem to be redoing so much of like the worst parts of the story and adding characters to characters that weren't really there before. So yeah, excited for season 2 now. Hopefully it's good. A solid like 3.5 to 4 even, if I dare say. There's some cool stuff there. Definitely a lot of trigger warnings. Finally, you got the Umbrella Academy season 2. I've also talked about the Umbrella Academy in the podcast. It's the show where like all these superhero babies were spontaneously birthed on the same day, and this rich guy adopts 7 of them, and then is a horrible father who they don't really have a family. They're more like an academy, but he's still their dad, and they're still siblings, but they didn't grow up in a very sibling like way, to the point where like 2 of them have a crush on each other, and they're like, well, we're not technically related, and the other one says, well, if you have to use the word technically, I think there's a problem there to begin with. But yeah, like this show was really fun. It's got some problems in season 1 where some of the plotting and some of the consistency is just not there, but you get really into the characters, and the overall story that it's telling is really fun. In season 2, all the siblings are thrown back in time due to the events of season 1, and they all arrive in different points of the 60s, which is really cool because it gets to put them all in very interesting situations, such as the black woman of the group drops from 2019 into 1960s. So you know that that's going to be a bit of a shock for her. And she's got the coolest power where she says, I heard a rumor, and then gives you a command. So she gets to like be an activist knowing some things of the future. And Diego, whose power is to control projectiles and knives as he throws them, he drops and he's like, I'm going to save Kennedy because he's got a big hero complex. And then he just has one brain cell the entire season, and it's very endearing. He's very dumb, very, very dumb boy, and I love him. Same with Luther, the big strong man. And then you got Klaus, whose power is to commune with the dead, and he kind of just makes a cult, just a giant hippie cult, where he's like levitating himself by having his ghost pick him up, and people are like, yeah, he's the prophet. Klaus is great. 5 is the time-traveling child, old man stuck in the body of a child, so he's the one spearheading the plot, and they're trying to stop another doomsday because the opening scene of this season's amazing. You see each one of them individually drop into different years, and then over the season, they all meet up again because they're all around the same time. But when 5 drops, it's 10 days after Kennedy's assassination, or... yeah, 10 days after Kennedy's assassination, and the world is ending again. There's a huge nuclear conflict going on, and he drops, and then you get this amazing scene of all 7 of the kids fighting together against the U.S. Army, and they all have these OP superpowers and new character designs where it's like, each one of their powers evolved over time. For example, the I Heard a Rumor girl can now say, I heard a rumor that I blew your mind, and then your head just explodes. And Klaus, who can commune with the dead, is summoning like Death Stranding ghost soldiers to fight
Necromancer.
for him. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Vanya, who's Ellen Page, who caused the first apocalypse in season 1, is fighting with the team, and you're super happy to see her there. And this season, what it really delivers on is having the characters actually be together and bond with each other in different pairings that we wouldn't see. And now Vanya gets to be part of the family. She has amnesia, and they're like, hey Vanya, you kind of blew up the earth last season. Let's try to make it up. Let's try to be good family this time. Shit goes down, the earth almost blows up. There's some bad plot decisions that happen near the end, but overall really fun. I think I enjoyed the season more than the first one. This continues to be a steady, fun show with a cast of dumb, broken people that I really like.
Better hero show than The Boys?
Yeah.
A very different hero show than The Boys. It doesn't feel like very much of a hero show because they're the only heroes. And I think they all have fun superpower. I think the boys have some really weak superpowers. They're very like generic, strong, fiery people and laser beams and whatnot. But it's also telling a darker story in general. Well, this one's telling a story of a family with superpowers. I don't know. Pretty different. It's the DC versus Marvel thing, because it feels like Umbrella Academy is more Marvel, more X Men, while The Boys is more DC, but also a parody of it. Good shows. Recommend them all. I think Ozark is the highest regarded among this batch, and I think it's the one I'd recommend the most. Yeah, there's some dumb plot shit, but there's also some great moments. Cool.
That chimp goes, these powers are for babies.
Joe, tell me about Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima is a game by Sucker Punch, a company that I really, really like in terms of their games that they made. They made Sly Cooper way back in the day. I can't remember what the other game they made. It might have been something.
Infamous series.
Yes, they also made Infamous, which I also really, really liked. So they've been they're pretty good at making these like open world games. And I was kind of like, I wouldn't say jaded, but I really it's not like invest in open world games anymore.
Yeah, I
like
don't.
the last,
for sure.
yeah, the last open world game that I really liked and played and enjoyed before Ghost of Tsushima was Spider-Man, and that game is like really, really short in comparison to Ghost, and I think that's why I liked it so much, is because I could just fly through it. But I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima, and this game is fucking great.
This game is so addicting. I feel like
Yeah.
I'm over 20 hours in. I've just barely gotten into Act 2. There's so much stuff to do, and I enjoy doing it all.
Yes, that's kind of like the major thing, is that there's not a wasted point of detail, I feel, in this game when it comes to what you can do. I like open world games have this thing where it can get overly bloated with the stuff you have to collect or things you need to go do. I feel like the stuff in this game does a really good job of making everything you do meaningful in what you're doing, your decision making, but also quick enough that you're not just stuck there forever trying to do it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, like, I don't know. I feel like a big part of this game, first of all, the open world looks amazing. It's such a
Yes.
looker. It's gorgeous. Grass will never look that good. It's ruined grass in real life and video games for me. It's so pretty that it genuinely hurts. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, like there's so much color and light in this angle where I can't actually see anything.
It sucks because I there are these mechanics that are shrines. They're very close to like towers in like Assassin's Creed or whatever, that like you climb up to the top of them and you get something, you get a good overlook of everything around you. And you get to the top of them and you're just like, what the fuck? And you're just sitting there and like, I gotta take a picture of this. And I take a picture of it and I post it and like, this is nowhere near as good looking as it was on my TV or whatever. Like it just
In motion, it looks so great. The wind and the grass and the birds.
This is a game that like it's a living painting whenever you get to those spots. Like
it might be the best looking game of all time, maybe.
On PlayStation for sure. Yeah. Like it just looks fantastic. The people models also look good.
They animate a little too funky sometimes, but it's fine.
Sometimes. Yeah, it's like
their faces are twitching and they're showing off their face twitch tech, but they're more going like they're more having like a mini seizure mid convo.
Yeah, but they're not. It's kind of weird because like they're much more even across all of them compared to like Final Fantasy VII, where only the main characters had really, really great models, and then everyone else looked like little dolls you buy off the Unity store.
Yeah.
In comparison, but yeah, that game is gorgeous. Like it's the first game in a long, long time where I'm just like, this looks fantastic. Like I get so excited when I have a new landscape to view, and to add to the like open world part of it, like they do a really good job of like environmental variance, which is really nice. Even though you're on like one island the entire time, I feel like every section just feels so unique and so cohesive and just like it comes together. Like in Act 2, there's like a rocky like coastline area, and it looks fantastic, and then there's like a whole bamboo forest that you can go through,
God,
and it
like
feels unique.
when you get to Act Two, you're in these rice paddies, which is completely
Yeah,
different from anywhere you've been. But like in Act One, that area has like the golden forest and the forest of red leaves and like the mountain of purple hydrangeas. I can never say that flower.
like green dots. Yeah,
It's so like they really make little areas that are so beautiful. By the way, about those shrine climbing, is it like I find those kind of impressive as little platforming challenges. Just how much you have to
yeah.
like jump around. It just feels like quite the little hike for little Jin.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
well, a side content I really like is haikus. I've made some fire haikus in this game. I'm like, man, I'm deep, and I'm 14. They really give you a lot to work with, but like after you finish the haiku, Jin will say it while looking at nature, and you're just like,
Mhm.
yeah, samurai,
I get it.
yeah,
And then you get a little headband with the haiku on it, and you wear it.
yeah. I like the bamboo cutting mini game. I was like, this is nothing
Uh-huh.
at first, but then I'm like, oh, it just feels nice.
Yeah,
Uh,
and all those mini games, like they have an importance to them. The haiku one's just like a cosmetic thing, but like the bamboo one, it raises your resolve,
yeah,
and you want to do them. Uh, there's the Inari shrines. We have to go and chase down a fox. That gives you
yeah,
more
those are
charm
cute.
slots.
Yeah, those
Uh,
are great. Charms are a good way to customize your kit. I think I'm playing very differently than most people would, where I'm using
yeah,
the
you're.
legendary bow armor and then charms
Mhm.
that help me do more bow damage, but then also a charm where it's like, if you break someone's guard, get more resolve. So, like, I'm just
Yeah,
sniping assholes, and then they get close to me, and I switch to water style, and then I do the water style, like, whole triangle dancing blades move, and I feel
yeah,
so cool. I think
and
it's
I,
worth bringing up the combat because I think it's excellent.
yeah,
It's
I.
so
Mhm.
slept on. I feel like if you need to play this game on hard. It
Yeah,
really, really shines with just how like what a flow state you can get in combat, but also it makes you have to use all of your tools. Where I'm just throwing like kunais and explosive grenades and smoke bombs and shooting
mhm.
arrows and flaming arrows and doing all of these different sword techniques. It feels great.
Yeah, and you're. So like when I started the game, I started on hard, and when I started this game, it was like at midnight when it first came out, and I was real tired. I was getting real frustrated with it. So the next day, I bumped it down to medium. And I was like, "Yeah, let's try this. Let's get my bearings on this real quick." Got myself to it like this is way too easy in comparison to what I was doing before, and bumped it up to hard, and then really got going from there. Speaking of like kit loadout, this game does a really good job of like making yourself customizable and like feel like you can play whatever kind of style you want your Jin to be essentially. Uh, like my guy is very much like he wears the Ronin armor, so he does a lot of high damage and he can sneak around. But like if he gets hit, he's fucking dead.
Yeah.
You know?
You can switch your armor
And
during battle, and the only time I switch to like the defense armor is when you're doing the 1v1 boss fights, which are good boss
yeah,
fights by the way, because those enemies have very different move sets from one another, so you get like a cool feel. Also, I'm taking pictures all the time during those fights, which is pretty fun.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, this game's good. It's those boss fights are great. What's it's kind of funny because there comes to a point where there's like a side mission you have to like there's like six bosses you have to defeat for the side mission.
is it the
And
Straw Hat Ronin
yes,
missions? I
it's
just did my first one today, and it was in this
yeah,
misty field with like a ring that he set up waiting for me. I was like, this is
yeah,
badass.
in the marshes, and
Yeah,
he's just like you've grown soft from living in a castle all your life, and
yeah.
just
I was like,
this like
bitch.
yeah, it's like
I
why are
I
you breathing hard then?
I
It's
did my
fucking
I did my triangle circle like one sword onigiri attack, the unblockable
yeah.
one, and I got his ass.
That's
Feels good.
those fights feel memorable, and what's great about them is that like they do a great job in those. I like that. That's a whole other like side mission in itself, and I think they did a really good job with it because all of those guys are Straw Hat Ronin, so they're supposed to be kind of like the same. Like they're all like Ronin, and they all have like a similar technique. But when you get to each one, they have their own like specific styles or ways that they fight you,
Yeah,
and
that one
they're
fought me
really
in like
nuanced.
he fought me in the stone style. I noticed he was doing the puncture attack, which is the heavy
Yeah,
attack. I was like, hey, I know that.
And then there's a guy later that like the way he fights is more like water style, where he'll do like a big combo move kind of deal that you have to like dodge all of them or block them.
Yeah,
Uh,
the
it's
stances are really fun in combat.
hmm
I really like switching, but like because each one of them has such a unique heavy attack and even like heavy string and I mean there's obviously the switch to the one that your enemy is weak to, but even
hmm
beyond that, like each one has such a unique little mechanic to them, such as the
yeah.
typhoon kick for the anti spear, the wind form, and then you can do like Zelda spin slashes and the moon stance. And then if you're
hmm
1v1, you switch to the water stance and you just go ham with that combo attack. It just feels great, and you feel super cool doing it.
Let's see. When it comes to the actual open world stuff, like the moving around, uh, when you're in an open world game, I think you need to make it traversing your landscape interesting, fun, or very easy to do. And if you can't get at least two of those down, like it, open world games feel very sloggy. It's kind of why I don't like GTA because like I don't think it's fun to drive in a car. I don't think there's really anything interesting in the city of GTA. Like it's just a city. Like it doesn't appeal to me anymore. But I feel like in this game, they hit all of those pretty like uniquely enough. Like the climbing's very fun. It's very easy to just hop from point to point on the map. If you're doing a quest that's like across the map, you can just immediately jump to the next location that you're closest to. And it's just fucking pretty, like we said. So there's always something to look at.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's I'm not getting burnt out on doing the side content. I usually
hmm
mainline open world games, and I probably will eventually with this one, but I don't. It's not happening yet, and I'm like, hey,
Yeah,
that's cool.
and the like in the side content, like where it's like special missions, what I really like too is that they distinctly mark which missions are like progressing a certain storyline, so you know which one to
Yeah.
go to, and they're like a lot of open world games do that, but it's really nice when it's on the map and it's very easy to read, and you can, and not only that, it tells you how many of that side story you have left, so you know how close you are to finishing that side story. So
Hmm.
it doesn't feel like you're just on infinite, like you're not just on a goose chase or whatever, trying like just fucking. I want to finish this Archer storyline because I really want to know where it's going. I want to know where it's ending, uh, and that way, and so you don't feel like you're just going forever on it. And they're not like too terribly a lot of them. Like in Act One, you can only do four out of the nine. And in Act Two, it unlocks the next four. So it's very well
And
paced. I
introduces
feel.
a new one with the monk. Yeah, it's paced well. Those are great stories because all those characters are interesting. I
Mm-hmm.
I'm really suspicious of Sensei Ishikawa and Tomoe.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. There's some shit going on back there.
I was, and
She your
that was
daughter,
really,
dog? What's going
yeah.
on?
I
Uh,
also like that one because they do a lot of talking about like what it means to be a killer and the difference between like mastering, like is it, are you really that different from being like a murderer or like
yeah,
a psychopath
he just had like
mastering
a good
something.
he just had a good conversation about that where he's like a samurai like restrains his anger or like he murders for a cause or something like that.
Hmm
And I don't know, like they have cool philosophies. Lady Masako is just crazy and I love it.
Yeah,
That
it's a
girl
fun
mad.
story. Something that this game does really well, and Willer mentioned it when I'm talking to him, but they lay out these like specific side stories and the campaign stories in a way where it feels like you are naturally going across the map in a very natural manner.
Yeah, in Act One, for a big portion of it, I felt like I was forging a path southwards and becoming a legend. And the game
Yeah.
treats us as such. And you're just like they're placing these little plot points for you to go down in these side events where you're like, okay, my main mission's all the way at the bottom. I have to go save this blacksmith. While I'm on the way there, I can carve this path of like samurai badassery. And now I'm in the
hmm
Act Two, and you're kind of doing the same in like a zigzag northward sensation. It just feels cool. You're just exploring the
Yeah.
map, and then you do the obsessive. Okay, go back and check in every fog of war and see what I missed.
Or like, oh look, a shrine. I'm gonna go do that real quick so I can get
Yeah,
that charge. Or there's a fucking samurai fight. It's time to go. And you go and you duel that guy for an hour and a half because he just keeps fucking you up with his kick. Uh, yeah. Uh, there's the game. It just feels very unique in the open world sense. and it does a really good because the game is
Part of it is
medieval.
no HUD, no
Yeah.
waypoint, and no mini map. It's just you can use the wind to guide where you're going, and you can look at your environment a lot more as a result.
Mhm. And like when you and looking at Red Dead Redemption, which is a very low technology uh like setting, like you would think like traversing and like getting from point A to point B could take a very long time. Ghost of Tsushima is in an even lower setting, but like it doesn't feel like a waste of time, or it doesn't feel like a tedium to go from one location to the other, which I really really like.
Yeah.
Uh,
The last thing I'd want to bring up is the skill tree. I feel like third-person action games can have very superfluous skill trees.
mhm.
This one almost gets to that point, but I think it's like combat is so good where like each little addition actually does add something meaningful, and they don't get too caught up in the weeds of like throw 2 kunais. Okay, now throw 4. Now 5 and 6 and 7. It's just like okay, you get an upgrade that's gonna increase the kunais that you throw, and one that's for damage. You got some stuff where you can turn your ringing bells into firecrackers. You got just 4 different attacks or techniques per
Per
stance.
stance,
Yeah.
and you unlock like the super thing of the stance at the very end.
I
And
don't know nothing about that, dog. You better watch yourself.
well, like, well, I mean, like there's like the fourth section of that tree like really enhances the stance in some meaningful way in what it's supposed to do.
Yeah,
Uh,
for example, the Typhoon Kick will now stun enemies, and you
yeah,
have a stronger triangle combo in the moon, and you have 2 extra
yeah.
slashes in the water one. Yeah, that's cool.
Another thing that I want to bring up is the enemy variety in this game. I've been really
Surprisingly
enjoying.
great.
Yeah, I was shocked.
How many Mongols can they introduce? Well, actually, quite a bit.
And what's great is that so like when you fight the Mongols, all of them are color coded, and they're supposed to like represent I think like different clans or different like detachments, and each detachment has its own like unique flavor.
Yeah,
Like the blue archers will shoot rapid fire.
Yeah, those rapid fire fuckers. But also, like, they started shooting flaming arrows at me. The guys are throwing bombs. They have more annoying, like, physical patterns. Like, I struggle with the tough guys right now because they have a really weird 2-hit unblockable pattern. So I just try to kunai them to death. Uh, but hey, it's great. I'm glad that, like, they're
Never
keeping it fresh. And then you go back and you fight the normal bandits and you just eviscerate their ass. You feel like Zoro fighting nobodies in One Piece. I'm basically shooting sword beams. I'm so strong.
Yeah, there's a mechanic that Willer hasn't unlocked yet. I won't spoil what it is because the way you get it is it feels like you are the star of a fucking movie when it happens. And it's awesome.
I've noticed one thing in the stances page. There is suspiciously enough room for one more stance. Just saying. UI sometimes betrays twists.
Yeah, there's this mechanic you unlock that is based off of like if you could kill a certain amount of enemies without taking a hit, and you unlock something, and it feel when we are able to trigger it, it just feels fantastic. Like you feel like an actual god.
Oh no.
But like the game has like top tier immersion when it comes like it feels every mission you play feels like a samurai like short film or something of that respect. Like it feels good.
Hottest take, better game than Sekiro in combat and everything. I said it.
I think they're
come at me.
Yeah, Sekiro I feel is much more catered to a. I'm enjoying this game I think a lot more than Sekiro. I enjoy Sekiro a lot, but this game it like I feel like I'm the star of a samurai movie. Like when I'm walking around, I have my straw hat on, and I'm walking into the village, and I raise up my sword to like challenge somebody.
Yeah, the standoffs are great.
It's great. Like this was a lot of care was put into this game, and they really went like, how do we fulfill the fantasy of being this like samurai ninja kind of deal, and not only that, not feel like you're shoehorned into either of those roles.
The narrative is not the craziest thing, but I enjoy it. I like the themes it's getting at.
It's super simple. Mongols invade your home island. You basically have to take it back from them, and there's some twists and turns, some characters that you knew. You have a lot of
that one guy.
Yeah, That was great. I was like,
Kicked my ass. By the way, that fight was hard as shit.
yeah,
for
I
me.
was. It's very, very good. They have a Kurosawa mode, which I turned on at first. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do it black and white. I realized I couldn't tell who was friend or foe in the first section, so I turned that off.
Yeah, I mean the colors are so pretty, but I'd sometimes take the pictures in
yeah.
Kurosawa mode. So there you go.
Yeah. Also, it's on camera mode. Camera mode is absolutely fantastic. You can do whatever you want.
I actually use the camera mode in this game because
Same.
fuck it, it's so pretty and you look so cool all the time.
Yeah. Anyways, that game is a solid 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, pending like ending of that game.
Game of the year, competing with Persona 5 Royal right now.
Yeah. Which is shocking because
Sorry,
Will and I were just
FF7,
like, oh.
you've taken third.
Yeah. I think it's really funny because Will and I weren't like at all hyped for this game.
Not at all.
I feel.
We were just like, yeah, I'll try it out.
Yeah, like sure, yeah. I'll, like it's probably PlayStation's last big title. Let's pick it up. Let's see what they can do. And holy fuck.
It smacks.
Very happy. Yeah. Well, that's all I got about Ghost.
Cool. Tyler, you should buy this game and play any game, really.
Yeah.
I should play any game that I own on the PlayStation.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
Other
than
than-
Monster Hunter.
But Monster Hunter Best Game 2020.
Whoa.
It's true.
Let's not do this again. There was no Iceborne this time, so it doesn't
Yeah.
get added.
Welcome to Fire Death.
Okay.
What if they did just say, hey, like, COVID hit us hard, and we thought we were gonna be able to have Monster Hunter World 2 out by now, but the way things just turned out, here's new Monster Hunter World expansion, Hellflames,
Yeah.
and it's like the exact opposite of Iceborne.
Then
What's the
it's
other
Game
reason?
of 2020.
Yeah, I mean,
I should have picked it instead of Death Stranding. I had this weird thing about it being DLC, but at the end of the day, it's so fucking good. Anyways, thank you for joining us in the Roundabout cast.
Yeah.
When's the next big one dropping?
The next big one. What do you mean?
The big boy that we have.
The big boy is processing on YouTube right now. It's gonna be out by the time you see this podcast. It's the Nintendo tier list. Go check it out. We're gonna try to put some timestamps to the heated discussions. And by we, I mean Tyler and Joe are gonna help me out, right, guys?
Yes.
Guns to your head. I have your families. Cool.
yeah.
Look forward to that. We should do another One Piece or JoJo tier list sometime soon. But we take breaks between tier lists because we don't fuck around with those. Those are
when
2-night
Bradley
processes
finished-
sometimes.
Those
When
are for
Bradley-
when we just want to get drunk and
yeah.
I mean have argument juice and
Yeah.
discuss terrible things.
Never drink, kids. I think once Bradley finishes One Piece Part 1, we'll probably do a tier list of that.
That's gonna take so
But
long. I want to do one with the time skip arcs. Well,
I want to do Haikyuu Part 3.
never, Joe. Yeah, Haikyuu fan. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll figure out time to do that. It's just ended up starting right as we were starting that whole series, and I was doing schoolwork. So it just kind of.
I need my PowerPoints, dog.
Would y'all like to do your in memoriam?
Oh, right,
So Act Age finished.
not finish. There's
Was-
a very distinct.
Act Age
difference.
was canceled because the author was a diddler. He diddled the kids.
Yeah, the author was caught sexually assaulting people
Yeah.
on his bike in Japan. And Shonen Jump decided that it was best to just cancel the series
Which,
rather than.
good on Jump because they've hidden
Yeah.
other child predators before. So
Yeah. I can't blame Jump for doing that. It really, really upsets me because that was probably one of the best series they had cooking in their magazine.
I put that shit in S tier, no problems. Was fighting it for top 5 at points. Like that show is so good.
If
Or
I
that
could go
manga.
back to that, argument, it'd be like, Joe, you're making a mistake.
Do you think they're going to continue on with the anime since it was already in production?
Absolutely not.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
That
They're
shit's
gonna
getting
cancel that.
canceled.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just wondering because
No, I
it's like
think
different
it could.
studio, different.
No,
You know what? What
it-
they should do, I don't know, is this wrong though? Like they could do the anime and then have the anime staff make the story from that point on.
they could.
They could. Is that okay? Like,
That's I don't know.
I mean,
I-
he would still get royalties
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing.
unless like the government's like, oh no, you're bad. You know, we're
That's not gonna happen.
yeah.
I hope the artist gets a new gig. I loved her art. It was a big point. It was a big part of why I fell in love with the series.
Yeah,
Wait, it was a her.
The artist was a her. The author was a man.
Yes.
There was a duo. Yeah.
She's like 23, so she's a 23 art god mangaka. So
yeah, the way that she drew strong female characters and made everyone in that series look unique but real,
handsome F.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
handsome as fuck, but their actors
no.
They kind of.
Kei Unagi's such a good protagonist, and she's fucking dead, Joe.
Dead.
She's fucking dead.
They're the best female protagonists, and it really upsets me because we were about to get into a very fire battle royale arc.
No, I don't see. I don't even know if I should keep reading. I don't think so. Because I'm just gonna get my heart broken.
I can't even recommend it to people. It sucks. I can't even say yeah, you should read this because A, it's not gonna ever finish, and B, I just don't feel comfortable in promoting something that was written by a terrible person. You know.
Man,
big sad.
All he had to do was fucking keep it together. Jeez, you asshole.
Yeah.
How dare you write something so good and then do this?
What did he think this was, America? Where do you think he was, huh?
No, people get canceled in America. You don't. That doesn't fly.
Not for child diddling.
I think that's wrong. I think people do get canceled for child diddling.
Not public child diddling. He was caught in public in
Motherfucker
daylight,
was using a bike to make a quick escape. So
yeah, he would drive by, do it. It's ugh.
Drive by on a bike? Jesus.
Yes.
It'd be almost comedic in a pervy manga if it wasn't real fucking life.
Yeah.
I do hope everyone turned out okay with that. Hopefully everyone gets the therapy they need.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for the girls. That no one should go through that. And I feel sorry for the author. We should say her name. I forget what her name is.
Best wishes to I do not know her name.
Get her a job drawing One Punch Man because that shit needs more authors.
No, get her to draw
artists.
What her art style? Here's the thing, her art style is so could she even do something actiony? Maybe she can draw Hunter x Hunter.
Her name is Shiro Utsuzaki.
Thank you, Shiro-kun. Senpai.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, it'd be Senpai. God. Anyways, that's all for the podcast.
I would say read Act Aids, but don't read Act Aids because you're just going to make yourself sad forever.
You're just going to end up in pain.
Yeah. It's same reason why I can't recommend Terrace House anymore. That for very different reasons. That show is kind of dead to me. So cool.
Yeah.
Everything I love. Next thing you know, I'm not even gonna say anything about Oda and Araki because I don't want to jinx nothing. So, anyways, we're done. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Have a good day.
Bradley will be back next time.
Yeah. See ya.